Jay-Z was just hit with another lawsuit. And this lawsuit was filed by a former client of Tony Buzbee against Jay-Z's ROC Nation for allegedly hiring private investigators to get them to file false lawsuits against Tony Buzbee. And this is the second lawsuit filed against ROC Nation from former clients of Tony Buzbee. And these are the private investigators that Tony Buzbee has been talking about. He's got photographs of them. He's got transcripts of phone calls that were recorded from these former clients and a lot more. And the private investigator that Tony Buzbee caught on camera from one of his former clients looks identical to the man that was going around questioning content creators. Former client of Tony Buzbee is alleging that the defendants have conspired to obstruct justice by engaging in shadowy operatives to illegally seek out more than 24 current and former clients of the Buzbee law firm to convince those clients to bring frivolous cases against the Buzbee law firm. This lawsuit is alleging pretty much the same thing that the second lawsuit is alleging, but in his own story. And he's alleging that defendant ROC Nation is financing this effort. The attorneys Marcy Croft and Quinn Emanuel are orchestrating the effort, and in some cases, defendants' agents pretended to work for the state of Texas and have flashed fake badges. Soliciting clients in the state of Texas is a crime. These private investigators were offering as much as $10,000 to former clients of Tony Buzbee to try to bring lawsuits against him. So we get into the facts in this lawsuit, and it says, on behalf of two clients, Tony Buzbee and the Buzbee law firm sent demand letters to Sean Jay-Z Carter's attorney in New York. This is alleging that Jay-Z doesn't only have one person accusing him of crimes with Diddy, he actually has two people. These demand letters made no monetary demand. They only sought a confidential sit-down to discuss the client's allegations. In response to the two letters, defendant Quinn Emanuel filed a suit against the Buzbee law firm on behalf of John Doe. That suit alleged that the firm was trying to extort John Doe, who they later admitted in fact was Sean Jay-Z Carter. A couple weeks later, after Jay-Z filed an extortion lawsuit against Tony Buzbee, the Tony Buzbee law firm then filed a lawsuit against Mr. Carter on behalf of one of the clients. And this person is alleging at or around that time, the defendant's conspiracy with these private investigators began. Current and former clients of the Buzbee law firm began receiving solicitations from investigators aggressively encouraging current and former clients to sue the Tony Buzbee law firm. The investigators used burner phones. Many times the investigators used fake names or flash fake badges or credentials, but would not let the clients actually see them. During some of the contacts, the investigators were pushy, and in at least two, they pretended to be acting on behalf of the state of Texas. One claimed to be a federal agent. Several of these calls or contacts were caught either on camera or on tape. One of Tony Buzbee's former clients, Jose Maldonado, is one of the people who were visited by these private investigators. Maldonado was contacted multiple times out of the blue by two investigators in several phone calls and even in an unannounced visit to the home of Mr. Maldonado's father. These investigators attempted to illegally sway Mr. Maldonado. They identified themselves to him as federal agents. This contact was illegal solicitation and was made on behalf of and a part of a conspiracy involving the defendants, allegedly Marcy Croft, ROC Nation, and Quinn Emanuel. One of these investigators identified herself as Jessica Santiago. The other identified himself as Gregory Thomas. After showing up to Mr. Maldonado's father's home, they started calling calling him directly. They asked him if he was unhappy with his representation from the Buzbee law firm and whether they could see his settlement documents. They were pushy. They followed this up by explaining to him that they were with the state/feds, but they could connect him with a private lawyer so he could sue the Buzbee law firm. They told him several times that there was money in this for you. These investigators admitted that they were working for an attorney named Marcy Croft at the law firm MG Legal PA. Defendant Marcy Croft is an attorney in Jackson, Mississippi. Defendant MJ Legal is the law firm Miss Croft purportedly owns. Miss Croft advertises herself as a member of Team ROC. Moreover, Miss Croft advertises that she has become actively involved with ROC Nation. And they added multiple social media posts from Marcy Croft. And then today, Jay-Z asked the court to sanction Tony Buzbee for monetary damages and to dismiss the Jane Doe's lawsuit once again. Jay-Z is asking to file a motion for sanctions against Tony Buzbee and strike the Jane Doe's complaint under Rule 11. In this proposed letter to ask for a motion, Jay-Z is saying that Tony Buzbee should be sanctioned because he signed this lawsuit with allegedly not fully vetting each claim because of the NBC interview. He also wants Tony Buzbee to pay back his attorney fees and costs. Now, this is just a letter at this time asking the judge if they could file this motion for sanctions against Tony Buzbee and another strike for the Jane Doe's complaint, which I really don't get because they already kind of asked for that, but whatever. We have a lot of new updates with Tony Buzbee and Jay-Z, and it seems that their war is far from over. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.